A child's cancer diagnosis is heartbreaking for everyone involved. In today's Wellness Wednesday, we look at how the hospital where the patient spends so much time can really help kids heal. When Cora Morgan's daughter was just 4 years old,
we found out Harper had acute lymphoblastic leukemia 2 days before Thanksgiving.
Devastating news that rocked the Morgan family and put little Harper into the hospital during the stretch of the holiday season.
It was hard for me because I didn't know what was going on exactly.
It was during that time the primary children's nurses, therapists, doctors, and other patients became their extended family, and the hospital itself their home.
We used to watch movies like all the time, and they had this little play center that I would go like every single day.
Each floor of the hospital and every space became part of their daily routine and journey back to health.
There's studies that indicate that a healing environment not only helps with the treatment, but helps for the child to heal.
Lisa Paletta, administrator for the new Intermountain Primary Children's Hospital on the Lehi Miller campus, says they just received a $5 million gift from the Callert Foundation, which will be dedicated to making the Children's Cancer Center a space for families.
These kids that come in for their chemotherapies and general infusions, come for several hours. So we're able to make a beautiful space that has open light, private areas where they can receive these infusions, but also play areas and interactive areas, and also an outdoor terrace where they are able to go outside.
Paletta noting a lot has gone into the process and decisions on how to create the new center.
The design is very intentional, not only to be an inviting area, but a healing environment. Our desire is to reduce the anxiety with the child and the family, so making it warm and inviting, colorful, playful.
And the atmosphere is what Cora says helped her get through the tough times.
I think primaries understands that they're not only caring for the child, but they're having to care for the parents and the families as well, because they're just as lost.
And for little Harper, now cancer-free, she has a message for all the current and future patients that will use the center as their place to heal.
Even though I'm done with it, I still see a lot of sick kids there, and I really wish they can get through what I got through.
We hope so too, Harper. The new campus of Primary Children's Hospital in Lehi will open to the public in 2024.
A new discovery from scientists at Brigham Young University is making an important step in the fight against cancer. Researchers at BYU found a type of gene which they call a cancer driver. It's what's responsible for human cells mutating and becoming cancerous. This is a big discovery because there's only been a handful of discoveries similar to this in recent years. And when scientists can identify what's causing cancer, it helps find more effective treatments, which BYU researchers also did.
And this is what we call targeted therapy. So it's kind of the new revolution in cancer treatment right now. We have a therapeutic that works against it, and we're trying to push that forward into phase 1 clinical trials now.
And the gene they discovered is called TKN1. And a doctor based out of Lehi helped researchers come up with the treatment that they're trying to get to clinical trials.
Today, a groundbreaking ceremony for the Cache County Animal Shelter. The celebration took place just north of the Cache County Sheriff's Office complex, where they're partnering up with nonprofit organizations to provide an animal shelter for Cache County.
Our role here with New Vision Veterinary is we've wanted to start a cultural revolution in veterinary medicine. And one of the first steps in that is to partner here with the Cache County Sheriff's Department and Cache County as a whole to partner with them in building and staffing and running a new shelter facility for Cache County. It will service all of the cities and towns.
Everyone at today's groundbreaking says this is such a big need that will help the community.
41 million people in the U.S. speak Spanish. It's the second most spoken language in the country. And for many people in the Latin and Hispanic community, it's a big part of their identity.
But being bilingual hasn't always been celebrated, even in regions of the country with large Hispanic populations. Gina Arevo shows us how language discrimination that happened in the past is now impacting younger generations today.
In the state of Texas, El Paso and Spanish go hand in hand.
¿Hay alguna pregunta que quieran hacer de un tema?
It's not uncommon to hear Spanish spoken at the grocery store, restaurants, or even on the job.
¿Qué tal? ¿Qué hay de nuevo?
For this group of adults living on the U.S.-Mexico border, Spanish is what connects them to their culture.
I am Mexican American.
I'm Chicana, Mexican American.
And to each other.
My parents both spoke Spanish.
I grew up with my grandma speaking nothing but Spanish to me.
They have something else in common, but they wish they didn't.
The first question is, do you speak Spanish? Like, not really.
When I'm expected to speak Spanish, I do feel like a deer in the headlights. I get paralyzed, I stop.
Although their parents and grandparents are fluent in Spanish, they aren't.
In the home, it was mainly English.
Data collected by the Census Bureau shows 73% of Latinos spoke Spanish at home in 2015. The number dropped from 78% back in 2006.
¿Y tú eres el padrino de tu bisnieto?
Reasons behind this may vary, but for some, it goes back decades, as Devin Lara learned from her grandmother.
It was looked down upon in the United States when they were growing up, so they were often punished in school for speaking Spanish.
A 1972 report by the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights showed about a third of schools surveyed in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, and California had a no Spanish rule in the classroom.
I think in its best form, that kind of state intervention was an attempt to try to normalize everybody. But I think in its worst form, it was a different form of discrimination. You had families that were emphasizing this and were telling their kids, you know, this will mark you as different, so we don't want you to mark yourself.
Tronos, los tronos.
Decades later, people like Bethany Rivera Molinar are facing a new type of criticism.
I would be chastised and called out as a kid, like all the way into adulthood. Like, don't you care about your culture? Like, you don't speak Spanish. You're not really Mexican.
How does that feel?
Oh my gosh, like isolating. It's very shameful.
It definitely stings a bit, and you start to question, you know, yourself, and you're like, oh, you know, am I Latina enough?
But they're trying to turn things around. They're taking Spanish classes with the hope of passing it down to future generations and breaking down the language barrier for good.
If I can get them to learn it, it's very important because now they have more people they can help, the more people they can impact. The doors aren't so limited as my doors were.
In El Paso, I'm Gina Arevalo.
Well, today, state leaders are officially honoring Dia de los Muertos. The holiday originated in Mexico and celebrates the lives of those who have died. At today's event in Trolley Square and in Salt Lake City, city leaders signed proclamations recognizing November 1st and 2nd as the Day of the Dead in Utah.
It is emotional, but in this emotion, Dia de los Muertos is a healing art. It's an opportunity to remember someone in a loving way.
The nonprofit Una Mano Amiga has designed a special social distancing window display at Trolley Square Mall for public visits. Keeping in the spirit of Dia de los Muertos, the window will be decorated in traditional memorabilia that honors the lives lost during the pandemic.
I love that tradition. Such a nice one. Well, if you're feeling a chill in the air, that means it's time to prep your yard for winter. It's coming. Still to come on Live at 4, we will talk with a local nursery about best practices.
And some of us are getting a brief break from the rain, but don't put the rain gear away just yet. We're talking about a stronger, colder storm that's on the way towards the end of the week. More details after the break.
Alarming numbers out from the CDC today showing a rise in homicides within our country.
Yeah, the latest data shows that the homicide rate in the U.S. went up 30% from 2019 to 2020. It's the highest increase in modern history. Previously, the highest increase that the country had seen was from 2000 to 2001 when the September 11th attacks happened. Experts not involved with the analysis say stress and anxiety levels during the pandemic may have played a role. CDC researchers plan to look at the data even closer and see exactly what sparked this increase.
The World Health Organization has given the green light to administer the world's first malaria vaccine. Now, the vaccine is known as Mosquirix. It was first developed in 1987, but becomes the first to be officially authorized. This guidance was made after results from research of more than 800,000 children received the vaccine over the past 2 years. The vaccine does pose a few challenges, however. It's 30% effective. It requires up to 4 doses, and its protection diminishes after several months. Now, despite all of that, officials are hopeful it will help mitigate the ongoing malaria crisis, which kills more than 400,000 people per year across Africa.
Well, of course, we saw snow up in the Uintas today. That means it's time to start thinking about how to prepare your plants for the winter. Plant experts at J&J Nursery recommend cutting back shrubs and bushes to about a third of their height and also wrapping trees to prevent snow from snapping up branches. Now, while some people may worry that cutting back plants may damage their growth, plant experts say the opposite is actually true.
This is the same grass. However, with grasses like this, we prune it down to this height above the ground every year to prepare for the next year's growth. Our trees and our shrubs, we've taken a real hit this year with our extreme heat. And so you'll see a lot of dead wood in the tops of our trees this year. So don't be afraid to go in and prune them back.
And experts say that conditioning soil using compost will help promote root growth for the next year.
I got to do all that.
That is all excellent advice.
It really is.
Because I can't seem to keep plants alive.
Oh,
So-
well, sometimes
even
they
the
just need a little
succulents.
time.
And it
They're
gets
the
tougher
easiest.
now.
Yeah, I know.
I just put out my Halloween decorations, got them all up over the past few days. But when I hear snow, you've got two big-time Christmas lovers here. I think, oh, maybe I should start pulling my Christmas decor
bring out the Christmas tree.
Is it ever
It's
too
okay.
early?
No, especially now. Once you hit October 1st, it's fair game.
It's good to go.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Kelly's tree's been up the whole year.
I thought about that.
Have we started the Hallmark movies yet?
Oh my gosh. Well,
2
John,
weeks.
you have the countdown.
I have a countdown on my phone. 2 weeks, actually 16
Oh my
days.
gosh.
to start.
Those get
I
me,
love you
those
guys.
Hallmark movies.
Oh, they're so wonderful. There's a lot of new ones coming out
Every year. How many new ones this year?
40?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh gosh. I'm not going to do anything on Friday night.
We'll watch them all.
We're watching Hallmark movies. Oh my goodness. And actually this weekend, it's going to be a great weekend to be watching movies inside. We're going to be looking not only at showers, but just widespread rain throughout the day on Friday and Saturday. So it's going to be soaking wet for most of us across the Beehive State. But for right now, kind of getting a break, a live look at our Old Mill cam. Look at those beautiful clouds out there, sunshine peeking through. But no, we're not done with the rain quite yet. You're drying out in southern and central Utah. We have a few light showers in Salt Lake County. For the most part, you're really kind of dry for right now. Some light showers in Evanston, but let me bring you over to Tooele County. We have a couple thunderstorms that we're watching. One of those is just east of Wendover, also in Dugway, and we're starting to see some rain showers developing in Tooele and getting ready to push towards Stansbury Park. So even if you are seeing a break from the rain right now, you're not done with it quite yet. Things are staying unsettled over the next couple days. And in Salt Lake City, actually not feeling too bad, upper 60s, but you could definitely taste or feel that kind of fall crisp weather in the air today. Not only because of the temperatures, it was a bit cooler, but also that wind, that breeze was making it feel just a little bit cooler. But you know what? It's feeling kind of nice right now. Mid to upper 60s along the Wasatch Front. You're at 55 in Park City, 51 degrees in Evanston. We'll zoom things out and take a look at southern Utah where you're in the mid to upper 70s. It was a bit warmer in your neck of the woods today as things are starting to dry out. And this is that system that we've been talking about. This bad boy is going to